Hello everybody, welcome to Nate's, and I'm going to show you guys how to change spark plugs on a 2014 Honda Elantra GT. It's a Hyundai Elantra GT. Always keep in mind that let your engine cool down. That's what's specified by the manufacturer. Now it doesn't have to be completely cold, but they always say it's safer. A few tools that you will need or that can be very useful. Now, one tool is this very small precision screwdriver, and I'll show you why in just a moment. You have feeler gauges to do your measurements, or one of these coin gauges. You also have anti-seize. A lot of people are against this, but you can see it's 4 spark plugs, high temperature resistance, duct tape, black tape, some adapters. You don't need all these things, but these are a few things that may come in handy. Gloves, dielectric grease. Now, like I said, you don't have to have all this, but it can make life a lot easier when you change them the next time, or even make it hold up a lot better for you guys. So now, without any further ado, let's show you guys how it's done. Okay, let's get started. Okay, now to take these coils off, you're going to need a 10mm socket, and I use an extension. It makes it a little easier for myself. I just wanted to show you guys, how important some tools can be. Some tools aren't really a necessity. Okay. And once you break it loose, you're pretty well good to go there. So, what I like to do is, once I break it loose with the ratchet, I'll run it off with my hand. It's loose. We'll set all of our bolts to the side, somewhere where we know we're not going to lose them. We'll go ahead and break the others loose. Okay, now I'd already loosened these up earlier. I just wanted to show you guys. See, I'd already taken that one out, but let's just go ahead and keep on moving. Even though I know you guys don't need to see me taking every one out, I know how it goes doing a repair. Sometimes, or maintenance like this, sometimes what happens. Now here's the one. Now you can use a wrench for this. You can see where it's real close. I was able to still get a socket on it, so I'm not really putting any real pressure on the line, because you do not want to mess with these direct injection lines. They're not to be messed with. They have 2,000 pounds of pressure on them, so you will have to replace those if you ever do service on them. I'll show you guys. You'll pull this little tab out, and then you will flip this out, and as you pull that out, it will loosen it up. This way, there's a reason for that. Now, I see a lot of people pull this out with this still connected so that they're able to pull this coil out. I always like to put things in the same way I took them out. So if it's the first one, I'll do like coil 1, then lay down the second one here, third one here, fourth here, just because that's the way I like to do it. Now you can see where I left that. Okay, now like I said, you see this one? Pull that tab back and do it where trying to do it where you can see it. Okay, see there's a little tab here. See, you push it back, that gray tab, and then you will get in here with your screwdriver. That's why you want to use a small one. You don't have to press real hard or anything like that, so You know, you don't want to break nothing, but at the same time, like I said, you don't want to mess this up. It's the clip that holds it together. So as I take the screwdriver and press it towards me, what I do is I take my other hand and pull it out. Okay, just like that. Now, I want to show you guys something. Just be careful working around this line right here. You don't want to be pressing against anything, causing any pressure. Something else I want to mention. This is in here like this. You can take a screwdriver and pop that up, and it'll come right out. That way, it moves around a little bit, and you're not putting pressure on these lines, breaking them. I seen a guy showing how to change plugs. And basically, that's all he was doing. So I'm gonna show you guys how this is done. Okay, we'll connect these together and see. What I want to show you is if you're having any trouble with these, there's a little black tab right there, and you'll see it beside the gray. Now you press it inward like this, that way it pushes it outward. And as it's doing that, you just pull this off. Okay, so not the gray one. The gray one you just pull back. See now how it's moved out of the way? Now you'll see a black one right beside of it if you look close in that area. And then you will push it towards the outside. So push that black tab towards the outside. Okay, now let's move on to our next one. And I'm going to speed this process up. That way you guys aren't waiting all day on me. Okay. Okay, now I pulled that one out. It was already ready to go. Now this one, you will have to be careful with this one. Like I said, it is around that line. Okay, now I'm pressing this outward. I'm pressing the screwdriver towards the car, so the tip of the screwdriver will come towards me, allowing it to pull right out. Okay, now let's try to get this stuff out of the way. Twist this in a way that it will come out. Okay guys, now I wanted to show you something. This one is going to be tricky. So take a little bit of dielectric grease, put it around the edges, unless you want to have to disconnect all this. Put it around the edges. And what you do is you take this screwdriver and gently, you do not want to do this hard, gently pull back. And as you pull back with one hand on the screwdriver, what you'll do is you'll take something to put underneath and lift upward. And as you do that, it will go around it. So definitely be careful, and only try this at your own discretion. Okay? Okay. Yeah, we got that one out. Now we got them all out, looks like. And now we're ready for the next step. Now guys, the next thing, you'll want a 16mm socket plug, and inside of it has a rubber grommet. You'll see right here, Autolite makes them, and usually these three change just about anything you need. Okay, so, and you'll need an extension, and taking them out and putting them in are a little bit different. And the reason I say that is because it requires something a little bit different. So make sure you hang around to see it. I'm not just BSing you. So you want to go ahead, make sure you break these loose. Oh, whew. Okay. once you break it loose and loosen it up a pretty good ways and you think it's about to come out, grab the extension, do it by hand, and keep twisting just a little bit as you're pulling it out, and gently pull the plug out. And you want to take your plug out, examine the plug. Okay. So let's take our plug and examine it. Okay. I'm going to grab us one of our gauges. And we want to check the wear on it. See what the wear is. And so you guys can see that's about 45 thousandths of an inch. So you want to start it on this side of it. You want to start it right here. It's the smallest, and then you want to run it up till you feel the spark plug barely start dragging on it. You don't want it to completely stop, because if it does, you've went just a little too far, and you want to back it up just a little to where it's barely touching. And you got to be extremely careful with these, because these plugs with platinum, iridium, and things like that, they're a lot more sensitive. So okay, now what you want to do next, take your gapping tool, and you want to make sure that this fits. So make sure it's not been damaged during delivery or anything like that. And as you can see, this one hadn't been, so we're good there. Next step, we want to take and use some of this anti-seize, and you want to use a very tiny amount. Now I'll show you. You can see this, and that was what the tape was for. It's actually to hold on to the extension. It's about wore out. You can also take a piece of paper, wrap around the extension, and push it in at the same time. It'll hold it on, because once you put these plugs in here, your sockets usually want to stick to it, so you're not going to be able to get it back out. So okay, press that in there, because you do not want this thing falling out while you're working, because that can mess up the gap. So you gently put it in there like that, or you can connect a little hose to the end of it, because you're going to be putting them in hand tight in the beginning. So you're going to do them just like that. Do it until it's all the way snug. Once it is, you can put a torque wrench on it, or you can tighten it up till it's snug with a ratchet, and after you've hand tightened it, and then give it 1/4 of a turn. That's it, no more. See, there we go. That one went good. Okay. Well, now it is snugged up. Gave it a little bit, 1/4 of a turn. So we're gonna have to work it out. Looks like our plug socket came off anyways. I thought that one was a little tighter than what it was, but usually when that happens, instead of taking it back out, you can wiggle it and it'll eventually come out. Okay guys, I didn't want to be wiggling around too much, so I took a piece of tape, stuck it up on the end of this, wrapped it, just one little thin piece, then shoved it back on this socket, and it pulled the socket right back out. So we're good to go on that. And when I say very little anti-seize, as you can tell, that's barely any at all. It's extremely thin. So what you want to do next, this right here. Okay, get you some of this dielectric grease, take a little bit, kind of swap it in there a little bit where it'll get around this, and it'll make it come off easy next time. Put on the outside a little bit, rub it all around the outside, and rub you a little bit on the inside of it, and this will help protect the boot and make it come in and out easy. Then just drop your boot back in there, and don't forget to plug it in, and you're ready to go. Thank you all very much.